Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Yin practice. For props for today, I suggest having a strap, which if you like, you can turn into a loop um, beforehand, just so that it's handy. And then a couple hard blocks and a soft block will likely be handy as well. We're going to get started in puppy dog pose today, so I suggest having a couple props nearby. I'm going to set up a little shelf for my hands with my hard blocks. You could also use your soft block, and you can also skip it. So come up through a tabletop position to get started. Set the knees up so that they're roughly beneath the hips, and then they're going to stay there the whole time. You can start walking your hands forward in space, starting to find that back bend, that dip of the chest in towards the floor. So straight away, you could pause right here. You can let yourself float. It might be helpful to find something for the forehead to rest into if it can't quite reach the floor, and you might also support the chest here too. If you'd like to find a slightly different expression where there's a little more stretch for the triceps too, you could think about bringing your elbows up onto your blocks. And then you can have the arms extended if that works for you, or have the palms together. And then try it from here, letting the forehead dip any amount. And take your time to set yourself up however you like. So, using any of the props that you have nearby, find the expression that feels best. And take as much time as you need to find your shape. And once you decide to find stillness, then see if you can stay as still as you can. Of course, if your body asks you to come out of the pose, then listen to it. Otherwise, settle in here, steady your breath. Whatever your expression, slowly start to back out of the shape, coming up through a tabletop position. And then from here, you can take the knees back a little bit, lower the pelvis down to the floor, and we'll find our second shape, which is Sphinx pose. So take a moment to find your proportions for today. Elbows can stay roughly underneath the shoulders. You could also take them forward a little bit to soften the back bend. You could bring them in a little closer if that feels better. Mindful, whatever you choose, that it works for the shoulders. And forearms can stay parallel or hands can be together. If you'd like a little more back bend, you could also think about lifting the elbows and placing them on some of your props. So maybe making a little shelf again. And choose whichever expression you like for as far as the neck is concerned. And as far as the head is concerned, so if you want to let the head hang heavy or have it in center, maybe have it lifted, then go for it. But whatever you choose, find just a slight tuck of the chin in towards the throat, just so that you aren't jutting the chin out and then collapsing the skull towards the neck. Notice the low body and see if there's something that's holding there that doesn't have to be, or see if something needs a little more support and maybe you can add a prop in. Sometimes a blanket under the pelvis can feel comfortable. And from your back bend, you can gently slide the elbows apart or come up off of your blocks. Let the spine slowly come down to the floor. You can stack palms or find a shelf for your forehead. And give the heels a gentle slide, side to side. If you need a little more to help the low back release, think about sliding a knee up to one side. If you have one knee up, you can change it to the other when you're ready. Re-extending the right leg as you're ready. And then bringing the hands under the shoulders and pressing up to a tabletop position. And from here, we're going to set up for a lunge, so you can step the left foot forward between the hands and then find your blocks and bring one for each hand. You can use any height setting you want and take a moment to see if maybe the back knee needs some support here. Back toes can be tucked or untucked, and you might even shift that back knee a little further back if you have space. Let the pelvis be really heavy here. Let your weight come forward a little bit, and then see if you like, you might start to open the chest up a little too. You can adjust where the hands are relative to the shoulders. And you can adjust anything at all in your shape that you need. Make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. Let the pelvis be really heavy here. And from your lunge, wherever you are, take an inhale breath and then shift the hips back. Extend the left leg just a little bit towards straight. And do that twice more. Inhale forward and exhale back. Last one. Awesome. And then come back to a lunge. We'll step the left leg back and then step the right foot forward to set up for the second side. See what the side feels like, see what it needs, and just take a moment here. This side may end up looking a little different to the first. It may have different history or just different requirements to make it feel steady. So take your time to set up, adding in any props that you need. As you're ready, you start to find your stillness. Let the pelvis be heavy. Maybe the spine is upright, maybe it's slanted forward. But see if you can find just a little room across the chest. Maybe that slight hug of the chin in towards the throat. And from your lunge, take an inhale. And shift the hips back. Right leg extends any amount as you exhale. And then twice more. Inhale, come back to your lunge. And then you can step that right foot back. And come and find a kneeling shape for a moment, or straight away you can bring the legs out in front. Finding stillness. Checking in here. And from your kneeling shape, as you feel ready, slide off to one side. And then extend the legs out in front. Give the knees a little bit of a tap to the floor. We're going to set up for a half shoelace pose, also called half cow face pose. So if you like, you can come to sit up off of one of your props. And then we'll start with the left leg extended. Actually, for starters, just check in here, see if this feels really effortful to hold yourself upright. And you might think about bringing a little more height under the hips. And then when you're ready, keeping the left leg extended, we're going to take the right leg and take the right foot kind of close to that left hip. So take a moment to find a version of the shape that feels comfortable for you. And if you need to add in any props, then go for it. If it feels like things are kind of coming apart and you're having to hold them together, then see what feels useful here. You could take a strap and loop it around the left foot just to hold on to and hold yourself upright. You could also add a block or something between the knees, or if it feels like there's a lot of weight on the bottom leg and it's kind of extending the leg further than where you'd like it to be, a rolled up blanket or a block under here can be useful too. And then there's also the option to take the arm expression for this. So if you are using a strap, then you can take it to the left hand, reach the left arm up towards the ceiling, and then bend the left elbow. Right arm reaches out towards the right, thumb pointing down, and then bend the right elbow and catch the other end of the strap. You can start to walk your hands a little closer together. And of course, if there's space that you can hold hands, then go for it. But if you end up kind of rounding inwards to do that, then I'd see about prioritizing maybe keeping a little slack. Now, with any of this, there's the option to find a fold over that front leg. So if you would rather do the fold, but it doesn't work with the arms, or if you need an arm for support, then you could do a half bind or something. If you are coming to the fold, then start to round yourself over that leg and just see what happens. If it feels like maybe releasing that bottom arm to kind of brace against the floor would feel good, you can still keep the left hand at the back of the neck. A feeling of pressure, something like that is okay. But if it starts to feel like pain or if something feels a little compromised, then gently back out of the shape. As you feel ready to gently make your way back upright. If you had the bind, then you can let that go. And take the left hand to the right knee, the right hand behind you. And as you're ready, turn your chest open towards the right, any amount. Awesome. Coming back to center, take a counter stretch over towards the left. Awesome. And then when you feel ready, coming back to center, you can use the arms to release that right leg and then give both legs just a little shake out. When you're ready, we'll set that up for the second side. So make sure your seat feels comfortable. You can use the hands to help bend that left leg, left foot roughly near the right hip. And then see if this side needs something a little different. Maybe it needs more height. Maybe it needs you to use your props a little differently. So take your time to find a version of this that feels good in your body. If you found the arms on the first side, then take the strap to the right hand now, right arm towards the ceiling, and then bend the elbow. Left arm towards the left, thumb pointing down, and then bend that elbow, catch the other end. Giving yourself as much slack as you need. And then the option is here to stay upright, or if you'd like to start to round over the legs, then go for it. Make sure your body feels adequately supported. Make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. Find your steadiness here. Gently making your way back up and releasing your strap, your bind if you were using it. Taking the right hand to the left knee, the left hand behind you, and start to open the chest into a twist towards the left. And then unravel at the center and twist to the opposite direction. Sweet. Coming back to midline, you can help that left leg out. And stretch the legs out, maybe tap the knees to the floor, windshield wiper the feet, maybe wiggle the shoulders, flex the spine. Awesome. And then from here, we're going to lower down onto the back. But before we do that, you can set up your props. So if you have your hard blocks nearby, maybe soft block near the top of the mat. And then if you have your strap, turn it into a loop if it isn't already. And then take the loop over your head and then around your waist. And then leave one end so that it can be between the legs. And then we can set that up when we get down onto the floor. So any way you like to get there, start to lower yourself down. And then when you touch down, see about bending the knees in so you can loop your feet. And it's okay to do them one at a time and give yourself as much slack as you need. Okay, awesome. And then from here, we'll lower the legs down towards the floor. So setting up for this butterfly, and this will be our rest shape for today. So if this feels like a little bit too much, maybe too much for the hips, and you want to find something quieter, maybe a regular shavasana with the legs extended, or anything else, then go for it. If you're with me in butterfly, then if you like to support the legs at all, then that might feel nice as well. Kind of a counter to the strap that's pressing on the inner thigh. And then see what you want to do with the arms. It could be a T shape. You could have them by your body. You could have them on the body. You can check in. Notice if there's any part of yourself that needs just a little movement before you find your stillness. And see if there's anything clothing-wise or in your environment that could help you be a little more comfortable. And when you're ready, you let the body get heavy here. And find your rest. Gently deepen the breath. And invite a little movement back to the body. If you have the strap on your feet, you can reach down and bring the knees together, lifting the legs up. And then just take a moment to release the legs. You can keep the strap around the waist. And see what feels good from here. Maybe a nice slow windshield wiper of the knees side to side. And when you're ready, you can roll down to one side, pause for a breath or two. And supported by the hands coming up to any comfortable seated position. Using any of your props if you need a little more support. Take these last few moments of your practice to check in. Scan through the body, notice your mind, notice your breathing. And perhaps connecting the hands in front of the heart and bowing the chin in towards the chest. Thank you for sharing your practice today. Namaste. And thank you for joining me for Yin practice this week. My name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your day.